and welcome back to my channel. Before we jump into my series of videos, I'd like to run the same intro that I'm going to run in every video that I do this week. If you are one of the people that put trans rights or human rights all up and down my YouTube, thank you. If you came from TikTok and you followed that video from TikTok and you listened and you said, hey, they're being gross and ugh, the super straights are being gross, thank you. Please continue. If you want to catch my attention, nothing will catch it faster than saying trans rights are human rights and Black Lives Matter all up and down my page. I will love you eternally for it. So if that's you, I heart you. Everything about you, I heart.
It's prevent defense, weaken at Bernie's, no risk, whatever you want to call it. That's the game they're playing. And, you know, at some point, you can't hide forever. You're going to have to come out and answer the questions.
Kaylee, how accurate is Stephen Miller's assessment to me that he would go in the president's office, the Oval Office, the president would dictate a speech, he would go on and on, I want this, I want this, I want this. Stephen Miller would go do his thing, and then in the process of writing it, Stephen Miller would get 10 calls to add this, and this, take that out, put this in. Isn't that how it went?
That's exactly right. And then he'd get this speech and he had this infamous Sharpie and he would go line by line through the speech and make further edits there. But you're right to say this was not something he had to practice 10 times on a teleprompter. Oftentimes he wouldn't even breeze through it once on a teleprompter after his edits. He was not afraid of questions. We'd be shouting questions at him as he was approaching the briefing room, and that would be the extent of his preparation because he was speaking from his heart. It was authenticity. It was transparency. The diametric opposite of what you're getting from the Biden basement strategy administration.
You know,
Oh my. How should I put this? Yeah, we just watched that, right? Like, we just watched that together. You and I, we just watched that. Sean Hannity is literally saying, and we'll get into Kaylee McEnany's thing here in a minute, but they're literally saying that Biden came too prepared and read from a teleprompter and did a professional speech. It's almost like when they say you're too educated, and yeah, I get that all the time. I use too big of words and I'm too educated and I mean because I'm educated. But yeah, that's literally what that's like. It's like saying you're too prepared. How can you be too prepared for a speech to the country? Did we not forget that this is how a president is supposed to look? This is exactly how a president is supposed to look. This is part of why I elected Biden, for a concise, put-together message that makes sense. How desperate do you have to be when your big flex is Biden was too prepared, too well put together for a national address that's meant to be read from a teleprompter? Is that really where we're at now? Is this where we're at? No. That speech was well put together. It was coherent. It was well thought out. It was empathetic. And it looked like what a professional speech should look like. If I was a professional politician or a business person, I would want to go in as prepared as possible with a prepared speech that I would read out. The same thing happens with, valedictorians, college graduates, debate teams, presentations at people's workplaces where they read off of note cards and scripts, because being prepared is what you're supposed to do. Then Kaylee McEnany comes in and says things like, well, Trump wasn't afraid of questions and he was always making edits and he never practiced on a teleprompter. Yeah, that's why his speeches would give me a headache, because they were on average an hour of incoherent rambling and gave you such gems as the Continental Army stormed the airport, before airplanes existed, or the killing fields, pew pew, for birds, or windmills give you ear cancer. Those gems are brought to you by someone who wasn't prepared or told you that you should stick disinfectant in your body to get rid of the coronavirus. That's what an unprepared speech looks like, having no factual information and then just spewing whatever comes out of your mouth. I don't know about you, but I want my president to have a speech that has been prepared, gone over, practiced, is as factual as possible, and to the point and concise. And when she says that Biden doesn't take questions, he literally did a town hall where he took questions from Trump supporters, independents, and his own supporters. This speech was not about that. It wasn't even close to being about that. It was about doing a victory lap and touting what is in the American Relief Plan, because that's what we needed to know, and not congratulating himself 100 times over. Like, it's almost like people have forgotten what a president is supposed to look like. We've had 4 years of a nightmare, and we're used to incoherent ramblings that don't make sense, that, again, talk about airports that didn't exist, brain cancer from windmills, killing fields from windmills, injecting stuff into your body. I want to let you know a secret. He may not have said bleach, but do you know that a lot of states had an uptick in calls to their poison control for people who wanted to know if they could ingest bleach? Because the President of the United States said, can we inject disinfectant into the body? That's what an unprepared speech does. So this is just desperate appeasement to Donald Trump to make him feel better, but it's not an actual thing. It's not an actual thing. It's not. This is mind-numbingly stupid. So stupid. Again, one of the reasons we elected Biden was for coherent leadership. That made sense. Trump never made sense. His speeches, which I used to watch because I had to, because this is kind of my hobby / not making any money job. Like, literally, I think I made $15 this week. Woohoo! Yeah, I put like days and days worth of work into it, and I made $15. I probably made less than 50 cents an hour, considering all the work I put into all of this, but not the point. Yeah. Ugh. Alright, guys, I will see y'all later.